Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Sabadi. Thank you for allowing me to say some remarks from Hanoi at this occasion of the signing ceremony of the new MOUs between the government of Lao PDR and NPA, as well as with Halo Trust. I would have loved to be with you, but the COVID-19 pandemic does not allow it. Strong preventive measures and safety firsts are of course key measures in order to deal with the pandemic. And let me start to acknowledge the government of Lao PDR's efforts to control this recent outbreak of the virus. We are all hoping that you will succeed and that the vaccination efforts, not just in Laos but globally, will be able to speed up. Norway's key message is fair and equitable access and distribution of vaccines at a global level. My government has therefore provided substantial funds to the COVAX facility and other global mechanisms. This is the only sustainable way of fighting the pandemic. But let me come back to the much more positive event of today. Norway and Lao PDR enjoy a particularly good bilateral cooperation in the areas of humanitarian disarmament, such as the mapping and clearance of cluster munitions. We have cooperated closely with Laos since the beginning of the negotiations process that led to the adoption of the conventions on cluster munitions. Norway appreciates the important role of Laos in the establishment of a very important convention. It is also impressive that the Lao government has made clearance of UXOs as a national 18th SDG. Mapping and clearance of UXOs is key to sustainable economic development in Laos. A key partner in these efforts is NPA. NPA is a highly valuable partner for the Norwegian government globally at the operational level, as well as for developing methodology and policies for the implementation of the Convention on Cluster Munitions and the Mine Ban Treaty. In Laos, NPA has been a key partner for Norway since 2009. NPA has a long history of survey and clearance both in Laos and in the whole region. Actually, NPA is probably more known in Laos than Norway. Their approach is also unique in the priority it places on capacity building to the Lao National UXO and Mine Action Authorities. The goal of this approach is to assist Lao PDR to create an effective, efficient, and sustainable national capacity to address contamination from cluster munitions and other UXOs on its territory. With the new MOU and with the funding from the Norwegian government and the government of USA, NPA will be able to clear 10 million square meters of land contaminated with cluster munitions and unexploded bombs in 4 provinces in Laos. Several thousands of people and communities will benefit from this work. NPA is also increasing its survey and clearance capacity, which means recruiting more staff and by this provide much needed income and employment for individuals and their families at an especially difficult time during the COVID-19. I would also like to highlight NPA's emphasis on gender equality and environmental sustainability, partnering with national organizations such as Proud to be Us Laos and Zero Waste Laos. I appreciate NPA's efforts to train staff on gender and environmental awareness and ensure a diverse and inclusive workplace for all staff members. This is leave no one behind in practice. My government is committed to supporting Laos to fulfill its treaty obligations and increase protection for affected communities. The focus must be on effective use of available resources and on the greatest possible impact on the ground. We do see a clear link between clearance and poverty alleviation. Effective land release is a prerequisite for social and economic development. Our experience is that NPA is a highly trusted partner both by donors and recipient countries. That's why the MOU between NPA and the Lao government signed today is very important in terms of predictability and efficient use of funds. It is even more important in the context of this year's 30th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Norway and Lao PDR. And let me reiterate, cooperation on humanitarian disarmament, such as survey and clearance of UXOs, as well as mine risk education and rehabilitation of victims, continue to be key pillars in the bilateral relations between Norway and Lao PDR. Once again, Kop Chai, thank you and congratulations to you all.